it's only fitting that we both start and end our thoughts on the Bears season with that very sad rendition of Bear Down.
Yep. Well, I thought, what happened was our bad habits just caught up to us. Mm-hmm. We were winning too many games by margins of, a touchdown or less. I think I was looking this up the other day. I think there was only 4 games where we win or lose that were decided by more than 2 scores. Mm-hmm. It was not a lot either way.
Yeah, and our special teams woes finally caught up to us mostly, I'd say. Those damn 10 missed field goals will do that to you.
Yep. Ding dong, our season is dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Even though
or I'm sorry, doink, our season is dead.
Yeah, I'll looking back, I guess it was a tipped kick. I mean, kick it higher, but it's also like O-line defend better.
How about this? We shouldn't have been in that situation, period.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't have taken 40 seconds off of the clock in that last fucking Eagles drive. You should have taken a timeout there and given us an extra 40 seconds to score.
Maybe a little of that.
You shouldn't have been as conservative in the first half of the game. I know that Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy know each other, and maybe they're getting in each other's heads a little bit too much. But go for the throat, man. This is the playoffs.
It's like, dude, where's your Tariq Cohen passing plays? Now's the time for some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm. You got 4 touches.
Right? Well, see, that's the thing, though, I was telling you. Part of the problem was with our running back situation. They're good at different things. Mm-hmm. Tariq Cohen, he's more of a dip, duck, and dive kind of guy. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, he can catch, and apparently he can pass.
Yeah,
as evidenced by last year's touchdown against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Howard, however, he's that guy who can smash through the hole.
And it seems as though that he's not the guy that they want, that Matt Nagy wants, and Mark Helfrich wants for that system. It seems like they want a different kind of running back there.
Well, that's part of the problem, too, is he's a rhythm guy. He needs to get going.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, a hit the hole hard kind of third down back, he can't always do that unless he's got a rhythm to start off of. Mm-hmm. That you're splitting their time too much, and it sort of became pardon the overused word, but kind of became a mess.
A little bit. It was still.
And then you got Mizell, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Who's this?
Yeah, I remember I'm trying to think of where the last time I saw him was. I think it was the Thanksgiving Day game, or I'm not sure. But he's played a little bit, but I don't know why they were utilizing him so much. Maybe they're just trying to trick Doug Peterson, but it didn't work out. But someone brought up a good point in saying, like, if this were literally like, if this is like Schrodinger's field goal kick, like if that ball had doinked off the upright and hit the crossbar and went in,
that's what I thought happened, or my wishful thinking made me think it happened.
We'd all be like, oh my God, what a great win. Offense could have played better, but they got the job done, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
no, I was not that way. I was like, if we win, we still are going to get the shit kicked out of us the next game. This is an ugly win if we win.
Well, I think we would have definitely put up a better fight against New Orleans than Philly will. And that's
true.
True. I'm going to take a guess and say by the time you're hearing this, Philly will have lost. And I'll eat crow if they don't, because I think that Drew Brees is having that kind of a year. Like this, remember the season with Peyton Manning, his last one, where it's like, it's Peyton Manning's last year. He's going to ride off in the sunset, and like, it was kind of ugly. Like, we kind of forced that narrative onto a really ugly season for Peyton Manning. Yeah. This is that season for Drew Brees. Like, he's having a really fucking good season. And it probably isn't. It won't be his last. But, man, oh, man, if he were to retire after this, it's a good year for him.
Oh, by the way, we'll get back to sports in a minute. But welcome to episode 37 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Alex.
And I'm Robert.
Okay, so now back to sports. Yeah, and we'll get to that movie bullshit later. We're talking sports now. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. We're bemoaning the Bears.
Yeah, like true Chicagoans.
Yes. So, but with the Saints, I've been telling you, I think they look real good all year, and I think I was saying, I think sneakily they're the real best team.
I think you're right
in the NFC.
The Rams kind of revealed in their last 3 or 4 weeks that they're not really for real. I think they're really good.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're fallible.
But except for the Saints might just be better. And correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not beat them in a regular season meeting?
The Rams?
The Saints beat the Rams, or am I crazy? All right, look that up.
I believe they beat them. I believe the Rams lost. I'm pretty sure it was a decisive one. Yeah, they lost in the preseason. The Saints beat them, and also in the regular season. Yeah.
Well,
45-35.
So really, they've beaten them twice now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Because preseason games count.
They do. They count towards
the ratings.
Ratings. I don't know. Yeah, they count towards life. Okay.
Right.
They showed up. They played, and that's about it.
Practice squad played. You know, they got to play 2 guys. Come on.
Hey, you never know when you're gonna get another one of those games where everyone's injured.
Oh God.
Or like last year for the Bears.
Jesus. Yeah, no, that was no good. That was no good.
Well, I mean, that sort of happened a little bit to our secondary.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson.
Missing Eddie Jackson. Mm-hmm. You know, McManus, is he his backup specifically, or?
I think so. I think it's him. Yeah.
Well, he's still pretty good though.
Yeah, he did fine.
I think
there were 2 picks.
Yeah.
You know, and
we're talking over the season. You mean?
No, in that game
from him.
Well, not from McManus, but in the on that defense.
Yeah.
He had Amos, and I can't think of who got the other one.
But Amos also made a fool of himself penalty. By he goofed.
Yeah. There was also a really
bad penalty.
There was that, and then there was a really bad pass interference penalty that got them like right to the fucking goal line, and I'm like, great. I think that was when they scored too. I'm like, great.
And I'm saying this not just because it happened to us. Mm-hmm. I still think they should make pass interference a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, not at the
the spot of the foul. It's bullshit. You're giving them way too much for not doing something.
Yeah.
The idea of the penalty it's pretty obvious. It's you lose down or you gain yards or whatever. You know what I mean?
I feel like every year there's a penalty.
It's a punishment where it's supposed to be. Now it's just a little bit easier. Not well, if you have a competent offense, we're basically giving you the touchdown.
Right.
Like, to me, that's bullshit.
I feel like every year there's a penalty that's up for dispute in terms of, like, what the fuck the rules are. Well, like, this year it was roughing the passer. Like, a year ago it was the helmet-to-helmet shit. And, like, I remember, like, 2 or 3 years ago it was pass interference. Like, everyone's like, what the fuck is it? And, like, the NFL's like, I don't know. It's a case-by-case basis. And I'm that's shitty. Like, give me a fucking... Or, like, what's a catch? That's every year's question.
A football move.
Yeah. Was it football-y? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's not pass interference. Okay.
Did you make a football move? No, that was more of a football pose. I don't know if that was a football move.
Oh. Yeah, in terms of lack of clarity, the NFL is pretty goddamn good at not being clear on rules.
Yeah, and I know that this is a heated debate we've had, but I just think Mitchie has a problem with under and overthrowing.
I don't think he doesn't have a problem. I'm just not very worried about it. I think
it bugs me though, because I feel like there are 2 throws, or it's like you loft that like any other starting quarterback could, or don't overthrow it so much. Mm-hmm. Don't make him come back 3 more yards when he's beat the guy by 2 steps. That's 6 points.
Yeah, I'll give that to him, but I'm
not gonna try and say for an instance that the season is all on him or any crazy shit like that. I'm just saying. That. He
can grow, and
he can grow.
I mean, shit, he's 23, 24.
Yeah,
so he'll get better.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's perfect. I feel good about him.
Where was the running? I know that he's had some injuries, but
that one injury where he ran once and it was a good run, and he slid I think a little bit too early, but I think he hurt himself. I think he jammed his thigh or something.
Yeah,
and like that was when they went to the tent. And they had Chase Daniel practicing. I'm like, oh my God, please no.
Yeah.
Not this early, please. But then he came back out. I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, and he never ran since.
Speaking of problem with under and overthrowing. Oh, I was saying Chase Daniel.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. God, there's a guy that I'm like, yeah, I'm not, Mitch isn't perfect, but, he's not Chase, thank God.
But you got to run with a guy like him more.
Who, Chase?
No, with
Mitch. Oh yeah, the breed option type stuff.
I'm sorry, he's just not like he's not even close to like middle level NFL starter yet. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of work, and I know obviously he's young.
I think he'll get there.
But I'm just saying there's a lot of it's like we've said before. Mm-hmm. Dak is not like the best like thrower in the world, and I think they're aware of that. That's why he runs, or he does, read options there a lot with him.
Yeah, I think the other thing though with a lot of those quarterbacks, specifically with quarterbacks like Goff and I was going to say Elliott, Dak, is like their first years weren't very good.
Yeah,
and I think Mitch's first year is also that. He's kind of in it's a weird place because he started halfway through last year, so he's played like technically, what is it, like 19 games or 20 games, so it's like he's still in that second year, but awkwardly not a second year. So like, I think next year is when I'm going to be like, all right, now it's like
chips are down. He's got
like now's the floor. You have the floor. Like show me what you got.
Because I'm saying that's really my my biggest issue with him is some of the ball placement on his throws.
Mm-hmm.
Like, luckily we didn't have a serious pick problem. I mean, he threw a lot, but I was looking at stat sheets. It's like every quarterback throws more than you think.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not like an outstanding issue.
Yeah, and that last drive for me was enough for me to be like, all right, at least he showed up when it counted. Like, he looked very heroic in that fourth quarter. Like that last drive, that pass to Allen Robinson, I think at the end there was like a 25-yard pass. I'm like, God damn it, keep going. And then they stopped, and I'm like, no, they're gonna bring on fucking field goal team.
But you know what? Allen Robinson and company, there was a lot of instances this season where they had to outstretch like a motherfucker to make catches to make Mitchie look better.
That's true, but what do you want to do about it? You want to fire Mitch and draft a quarterback in the second round, late second round?
You know what? No. Like no, because this was the thing.
I'll live with it.
The second we drafted him, it's like, you know what? This is our guy now. Mm-hmm. Let's not start this shit over again.
No.
The new process.
And we don't necessarily need a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl. We've seen that before.
I'm just saying, as I slap my armchair,
I'm just saying
that we need to run the option more.
I agree.
Now,
I think we will next year too.
So I'm armchairing it.
Your armchair.
This will come out. This podcast will be available on Monday. So I'm Monday morning armchair quarterbacking it. There we go.
Oh man. Other news in sports.
Holy shit! Amanda Nunes knocked out Cyborg in the first round.
Yeah, she kind of got murked.
Yeah. If anything, I thought it was gonna. If a first round knockout were to happen, I would have thought it had been the other way around. But after knocking out Rousey, beating Valentina twice, even though people argue about the decision the second time still, twice, and knocking out Cyborg,
God,
it's pretty much indisputable that she's the greatest female fighter for the UFC.
I think it's definitely true.
So, and then Jones won in a fight that it was all right. It just was not the barn burner the first Gustafsson Jones was.
No, I think
they both looked rusty. Something looked weird about both of them.
I think we need a completion of that trilogy. We got to get another DC fight in.
We got to get the DC Jones fight. Mm-hmm. I feel like Jones is DC will regret not taking that opportunity. So he claims he might retire in March, but I have a sneaking suspicion that he's got a couple more fights left in him, and one will be with Jones, hopefully.
I think you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah, indeed. So that'll do it for sports. Oh yeah, the Hawks both still suck. Okay, so that'll do it for sports. Moving right along, we move on to the news. We're going to do something different this time. We're going to start with our new favorite segment. People, it's time for... Is It Bullshit? Yes, that's right, folks. It's time for another round of Is It Bullshit, where we examine news stories and decide whether or not they're telling a lie. We've got quite a few this time, so let's go down the list. Okay, so starting with Netflix claims to have 45 million views for Bird Box in its first week, while Nielsen claims only 26 million. However, there is a stipulation to this. Nielsen ratings only count U.S. viewers, and they do not take into account mobile phones, tablets, or laptop viewing.
Which is really curious, considering that that's, like, I would imagine where most of Netflix's viewership comes from, like mobile devices and, like, laptops. Well, like there's some like TV like packages like Comcast and X1 or
just
whatever.
if you have a smart TV.
Yeah, like they have Netflix, but like that's a huge disparity.
What about game consoles? Oh no, because that'd be smart TVs.
Essentially, but it's the same thing. Like I'd imagine, like I don't think a Nielsen box is going to be able to track an Xbox, like being able to pull up Netflix. You know what I mean, or a PS4. So there's a lot of viewership here that they're not accounting for.
Well, that's kind of my thing. Is there's just so many ways to watch things now. It's like it's beyond like it's just like exponentially. There's more ways each year. Mm-hmm. Like, well, you got smart TV, and you can connect to your smart TV with Apple TV or like Chromecast or like whatever the hell.
Right. But the question is this true? Namely, are Netflix's numbers true? That there are really 45 people. 45 people.
45 million.
There's at least 45 people.
Yeah.
45 million people watching this for the first week. Do you believe that?
Well,
I guess we don't have a choice.
Well, no, but it's sort of a yes and no thing, because this is what we've talked about a couple of times on here. Mm-hmm. When you buy a ticket to a movie, it's because
there's a transaction.
There's a transaction based on the fact that you saw a piece of advertisement, mm-hmm. Advertising or a trailer or something caught your attention, made you want to go see it.
Right.
And that means they got your attention, and you have intent to watch this mm-hmm. because, like, you went out of your way to, because you have to pay for it.
Right.
This, it's like, well, I guess I'll watch it because it's free on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Not only that, there's the other thing about auto-playing at the end of episodes.
Right.
How many times have you been on Netflix, you fall asleep, and you're just watching this shit, and you're like, I don't remember putting on this shit about, like ballerinas throwing fucking Play-Doh at each other, whatever the fuck this is, like this weird anime thing, or like, I don't remember renting this movie about dirt bikers in the Himalayas. Like, I don't remember this shit. Like, some weird thing will be on. You're like, I did not watch this.
Well, and that brings in another weird statistic, and it says, well, the streaming service, Netflix, of course, they've let a little bit of insight into how their metric works.
How's that?
The streaming service, according to Forbes, they say that the viewer had to watch at least 70% of the film in order for it to be counted as a view. Which I'm like,
you're kidding me.
What the fuck do you mean? So, like, there could literally be somebody who's only seen 71% of the movie, and that still counts as a view?
That's bullshit.
Like, that's like the equivalent of, like, me leaving my TV on TBS, and, like, it's like, oh, you've seen Me and Dupree. It's like, no, I fucking haven't. It's like, no, it was on your TV.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's like the same
dirt biking
shit.
Himalayas and Play-Doh ballerinas. Yeah. All of a sudden, it counts as you watch it. It's like, excuse me, no.
If you've watched 70% of it.
But even
watched,
still, it's
quote
like,
unquote.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, is the idea is you buy a ticket, your ass is in the seat. There's no computer trickery going on.
Now, granted, 45 million is a lot of people, and that scenario would have to play out many, many times in order for that to be the case. But I don't know if it didn't, because Netflix is in charge of the software. They're also in charge of the census-taking shit, and they're in charge of the data that they get from this software. So, like, again, it reminded me a lot of, like, Cuba's literacy rate, where they're like, yeah, everybody here's got like 95% when they were like super closed off.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, we got 95% literacy
60s.
rate. It's like, well, I guess you're the only people that we have to believe, because you won't let any fucking other organization test your people.
That's what I'm saying with the Netflix thing. It's like, why would we lie when we're the ones making up our own stats? It's like, I don't know, but it is weird that you know what the other thing is that, like, I thought maybe you're just being paranoid. Except for every single article I see out there, I've seen it on a number of different websites, they also editorialize with the same sentiment.
Yeah.
45 million views in its first week.
So they say.
So they say.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think it's also just the fact that, like, okay, remember when Bright came out?
Yes.
See, that I bought. I'm like, all right, it's very high concept. It's got Will Smith in it. It's got, action, what have you.
It was advertised a lot.
Yeah, I get that. Bird Box.
Bird Box was also advertised a lot, but not nearly at the rate you saw Bright, print material and TV spots.
And this, it's like, I just don't see, and again, this is just me, all things subjective, like, there's nothing incredibly enticing about the movie. Even John Malkovich is in this, and I'm like, I don't know, man, it doesn't look that good.
That's kind of what I thought, and the reason why you can get away with making not as good Netflix movies, or at least this is what it seems like, is, well, it's just kind of an afterthought. It's just a one-and-done thing, whereas you try harder with the series because that's the long con.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really like their series, but I know that most people consider their series good. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if you want to keep your Orange is the New Black viewers, you got to make a whole season of that stuff good. Play the long game. Mm-hmm. The movie, it's like, fuck it. As long as we get views and keep people interested in Netflix, who cares? As long as they keep watching.
Right.
There's just something weird about that. So, is it bullshit?
Can I answer a soft yes? Or no, actually no. Soft no.
No. That's not how this works. Remember, it's extremes only, as we live in a world of extremes, especially when it comes to opinions about movies. All right, so if we're going extremes, I know what you're saying. I want to say soft yes, but in this case, I'm going to say yes.
You're going to say it's bullshit?
If I have to choose, man. If I have to choose, I'm saying yes.
I'll say yes also. Not that I don't have anything against Netflix, but like, I believe Nielsen, because they're like a third-party organization that doesn't have anything to gain from this. But like,
so what do you
Netflix,
think the actual number is?
It's probably close. I bet it's like I bet maybe 38, maybe like 39.
I'd say 30-something.
I think it might be a little inflated.
I think what they need to do is do retinal scans to make sure people are not only watching but awake.
Yeah.
It's like beep beep beep. It just like wipes the room. It's just like a laser shows up, wipes the room. It's like meep meep, sleeping. View does not count.
Yeah.
Okay.
They might already have that. You wouldn't know if you were asleep,
dude.
You would know if you were awake, though.
Yeah. Hey, can you not scan the room? I'm afraid I can't do that. What the hell's his name? Like
Dave.
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Oh man.
All right. So moving on to Is It Bullshit Round 2. This is my favorite of all four of them. The Batman. So the next version of Batman, whatever the hell that may be, supposedly the Ben Affleck one, the DCEU, is looking to begin filming in November 2019, according to reports from The Hollywood Reporter. So, is it bullshit or not? This to me, it's like, it's another one of those DC things. You know, I'll see it when I believe it.
You know what? It had me at is it bullshit? I was gonna say yes until I saw the date. Like, they're like, the Batman is gonna start filming this year. And I'm like, yeah, right. And they're like, this November. I'm like, oh, that's not very close.
But wasn't The Flash also supposed to start filming last December?
See, I don't know.
Or something. I don't know. No,
the only consolation I can give with The Flash, with this instead of The Flash, is that this hasn't, like, swapped directors 8 times. It's like, it's pretty much been the same. Well swapped it once.
It went from, what's his name?
Went from Affleck to Matt Reeves.
No, and now it's Gavin O'Connor. No, sorry,
I think he was in talks at one point.
Sorry, you're right. Yeah,
but it's still Matt Reeves, and he's still doing it. I don't think Affleck will be here. If we're playing, is it bullshit on whether or not Affleck will be back?
Yeah, so
that will not happen.
That is bullshit.
I think it might film this. Like, November's that's basically a year from now.
It's hard to say too with DC, because when they finally do choose something, it's like spin the wheel round and round, and that finally lands. It's like, this is what we're doing, folks. It's just like it always seems sudden. Even if they keep, it just seems like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Yeah, sure, and then it happens. Holy shit, they really are making, Shazam. There's set photos. This is actually happening.
Yeah.
And now we got Birds of Prey, and it's like, man,
filming next week.
But I feel like with how much shit it's gone through in terms of development, I'm gonna say yes. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're saying no.
I think it'll happen. If they were saying Batman's going to start filming like next month or very quarter 1 close, I'd be like, no, I don't believe that. But because it's November, I'll say yes.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Next up is Batman Long Halloween is supposedly getting an animated movie treatment in the form of 2 parts, according to Revenge of the Fans.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, see, Okay. I want to say, no, it's not bullshit, because
The Long Halloween's great.
The Long Halloween is so fantastic. And could you imagine getting Hush and then this? Well, I mean, because we are getting Hush, which is
not a bullshit rumor.
Yeah, no, that's happening absolutely. As that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
I'm going to say no, it's not.
I'm going to agree with you. I've been no pretty much for all of these, but some of them were less. I was less reserved than others, but I definitely think this is probably going to happen. Definitely, probably.
Definitely, probably. Okay.
If this is a fake ass story, they got good taste.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, if you're going to choose rumor ones, you're choosing the right ones to pique my interest.
Right.
I'm going to say no, because I went yes on the first two.
Yeah, I'm also going to say no, because I...
What about the two-parter thing?
Because
it is sort of it's a 12-issue arc.
Yeah, you know what? Dark Knight Returns I get.
Well, my thing is there a way... What the hell is the other one? It's like exactly like this.
Dark Victory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that is like... Maybe if one's dark... maybe it's going to be called Long Halloween and one's going to be called...
Dark Victory?
Dark Victory.
Ooh. If that were the case, that would be even better. But
I would love that.
Because it's such a great graphic novel. And if they do it in this... I'm
because
interested...
it's a serious... It's a good detective story. It's a whodunit.
Yeah, good mob-like story, too. And, like,
right.
I'm interested to see how they turn Tim Sale's artwork into animation if they do plan on doing it that way.
Right. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, neither will I.
No, it is not bullshit. Last Is It Bullshit? Superman Red Sun animated movie also in the works. From our friends, once again, at Revenge of the Fans.
So this is basically the same, in a way, the same story. I'm also going to say no, because it actually has a voice cast with this, too. Like, it had voice cast for both.
Its rumor thing?
Yeah. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you have to say... either no to both or yes to both, because they're basically the same story.
But the other thing is, I know they've been wanting to do this in some form, either animated or live action. I know they've been developing this for years. So if they're saying that, like, now we're finally going to do it, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, just because I know it's been a long time coming, and I don't know if anything's really substantiated as far as this as having a cast, even though it's rumored. I want, you know what? God damn it! It's just like Long Halloween. I want this to be true. So you know what? I'll go no on this. It is not bullshit.
I'll also go no.
All right, so that does it for our first segment, which is really 4 segments / our Is It Bullshit segment. Moving on to things that have been confirmed / are true.
Yeah.
Luke Wilson has been cast as Pat Dugan, otherwise known as Stripe, in the Stargirl series. Other additional cast members include Joe McHale as Starman, Lou Ferrigno Jr. as Hourman, Brian Stapf as Wildcat, Henry Thomas as Dr. Midnight, Nelson Lee as Dragon King, Joy Osmansky as Tigress, Neil Hopkins as Sportsmaster. So I really like most of these choices of villains and characters. Actually, fuck it, I like all of them, because the goofy ones kind of... It at least... seems like it's sort of giving us a preview of what's to come or what's to be expected from the tone.
Right.
You're not going to have Sportsmaster in a dark, gritty, neck-snapping
world.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to have that in a crapsack world, as TVtropes.com would call it.
Right. And I really am...
let's get... Yeah, Luke Wilson.
Well, the Luke Wilson I like, too. Like... he wouldn't have been my first choice, but I'm not poo-pooing it at all. Like, he's good. Like, especially in, like, think about some of the comedy roles he's had, man. Like, Old School. He's got a great killer fucking cameo in Anchorman.
Yeah.
He gets both of his arms ripped off. It's great. I feel the casting. I think he'll do a good job.
Well, you want to know something interesting? You know that this is Jeff Johns' first choice, right?
Yeah. That's interesting. And he made that character everything it was.
Well, no, yeah, he said that it was made after his likeness.
That really?
Yeah.
I did not hear that at all. Jesus.
Here, keep talking. I'll pull up the...
Well, that's a dream come true. Oh, yeah, he said, I literally wrote this part for Luke, hoping that someday and somehow he'd play Pat Dugan. I only envisioned him, and now I feel like I won the lottery. That's pretty crazy. That's wow. I can't imagine how that feels.
You know what's weird about that is I really didn't get that vibe.
Me neither.
From the comics at all.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought someone more like a Sam Neill type.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like a little bit gruff, but not like overdoing it. Just like yeah, I look like I maybe have worked on a farm a few times, like something like that.
Right.
Because he's like his whole thing's he's a mechanic, so that's how he makes the stripe suit. Is it Stripe or Stripes? Am I an idiot?
I'm pretty sure it's Stripe.
Well, and then of course he was Stripe C. When he was a young sidekick or whatever.
Right.
I like the casting.
Love the characters.
Well, Joel McHale.
Joel McHale is a. I mean, all these guys are like
fuck
relative
that. You know what?
comedic.
Fuck whoever the actors are. The actors are fine.
Yeah.
Let's gush a little bit more about the character choices.
Oh my God, we got some Sportsmaster.
Sportsmaster. I've never even heard of this guy.
No.
They're really digging deep on the early side. They're really digging deep in the archives of the Golden Age heroes.
Oh yeah.
Your Action Comics weekly characters who weren't seen for another 40 years later.
Oh, yeah.
And were
Tigress.
completely reinvented. Yeah, Tigress is one.
Exactly that.
I was like, who the fuck is Tigress? And I saw a picture of her, and I said, oh, she was in some of the Chuck Dixon Birds of Prey. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I still barely remember her. or what was weird is I recognized this picture of her, but I don't remember her being called Tigress ever. Mm-hmm. And
we got some Henry Thomas as Dr. Midnight, a little bit of Elliot from E.T. We got some Dragon King. I mean, this is just like a fun, like colorful cast of villains.
That's what I'm saying. We got some real wacky ones.
Oh yeah, they will fare well against the Justice Society.
I feel like this is gonna, obviously, as they've said a bunch of times, I feel like the whole show's attitude is gonna be golden agey.
Yeah,
which we really haven't. So. Really, how many adaptations have really taken a crack at encapsulating the spirit and the tone of Golden Age comics? I mean, there's always an episode or two, usually in a lot of the animated things. Mm-hmm. Like there's that Spider-Man one where all the old heroes come and they need to help Spider-Man do some shit.
Right.
I don't remember.
I say that in like Batman Brave and the Bold a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I think you might be, but
even then, it's like there are episodes that have like non-Golden Age characters featured in it primarily.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like they're really bringing back a lot of them. Although I'm sure, like Tigress, for example, they're not going to use the Golden Age version.
Right. Yeah.
Sportsmaster. That's
cracked me up, man.
I've never even heard of this dude, and it's like it seems pretty clear and obvious that he was an inspiration for Casey Jones for Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Wildcat.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the character, and we sort of got him in Arrow, but you know when you get a character and you're like, but that doesn't really count on Arrow. Like, yeah, I guess that's Huntress, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like some of the aspects are there, but didn't really feel like it counted. Because like Ted Grant or on Arrow, I don't think he suits up as Wildcat at all.
No, I don't think so.
So this will be cool. I think this will be the first time seeing him suit up as Wildcat in live action.
Yeah, and I think he will. Knowing Jeff Johns, it'll probably happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, this definitely seems like... Yeah, I was kind of taken aback by the Luke Wilson casting, because I was like, you know what? Yeah, I feel like that's a good choice. And again, not necessarily my first one, but rounding out a very, very colorful cast of characters. And I think that Jeff Johns, or if there's one person to bring this material to life, it's Jeff Johns, man. It's the Mac Daddy behind all of it.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that this show has a very good chance of being a counterpoint to Titans.
Yeah.
Or at least from what it seems like. I haven't checked out Titans yet.
Me neither.
I don't really think I want to. And I definitely don't for whatever a month. Mm-hmm. But I'm getting there where I might. I might just give in to see Young Justice.
Which I heard is really good, by the way.
Yeah. Young Justice, Stargirl.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Which comes out later this year.
Right, I think.
Well, I know Harley Quinn and Stargirl.
No, it's like one's in October and one's in September. They're closely one after another.
But Young Justice comes out sooner.
It's like they got half the season coming out this month, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that does it for the Stargirl casting. Would you like to read our next story, sir?
I sure would. We've got another trailer. Well, not another, but we've got a trailer to discuss. It's for a movie called Arctic. This is a survival film coming out this year, starring Mads Mikkelsen. It's about a man stranded in the Arctic. He's about to receive a long-awaited rescue when the helicopter that finds him crashes. The pilot is killed, with the passenger severely injured, and he then must decide whether to remain in the relative safety of his camp or to embark on a deadly trek through the unknown for potential salvation.
Let me tell you, he decides to do the ladder.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. There's that was the thing. I was watching this. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Number one, because similar to how I felt about like Black Panther. It's like I haven't seen a lot of movies like about Africa or like about or like Revenant did the same thing. I haven't seen a lot of movies about that specific period of time, the frontiersman time. Right. I can say ditto for the Arctic. Haven't seen a ton. Yeah, there's been plenty of movies where there's a scene in Antarctica because the bad guys' hideouts there or some shit.
Yeah.
But a whole movie there is a very cool idea to me. I don't know if it was filmed there. Probably not.
Filmed in Iceland.
Okay, that makes sense.
But regardless, it looks very, very good, and I couldn't tell if it wasn't the Arctic.
Yeah, so I'm always down for a good survival movie.
Yeah, and I forgot what I called this. It was like Revenant 2, Arctic 2? Boogaloo or some shit. I don't know. I called
Revenant 2, Revenge of the Cold. Yeah. Some shit, yeah.
It pretty much had me at Mads Mikkelsen versus a polar bear.
Yeah, that's where I'm in. I stopped watching the trailer. I'm like, polar bear, I'm in.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of like The Grey meets The Revenant. And I'm a big fan of Mads Mikkelsen. He's usually pretty careful about his projects. I think this looks really solid.
This seems cool.
Survival movies are generally pretty hard to mess up. They can be pretty boring.
Yeah, I was going to say, I disagree. I feel like they could be very easy to mess up because they could get too boring.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, they're not, like, the worst survival movie I've ever seen is, like, boring is, like, that's not that bad of a crime. Like, at least it's not horrible or, like, unwatchably stupid. Like, I've never really seen survival movies. I actually 100%
disagree. I think boring is one of the worst crimes because boring pisses me off. Mm-hmm. Like, it does, like, even if something's terrible, at least it's getting some sort of reaction out of me or whatever.
That's true, but I don't want to be,
I don't want to be, like, reacting badly either way, but I think boring is a problem, except for the fact that it's kind of hard to be boring when the character could freeze to death at any minute.
That's true.
So I guess that's one aspect of, there's not a lot of, I'm stuck on this island, it's hot out. Oh boy, I'm just going to sit here. It's like, I don't have time to fucking stop moving. I got to keep going.
Right.
And polar bears.
Right.
Really, I'm just a simple man. You add a bulldog in your what the hell, the Boys trailer for Amazon, I'm a little more interested. You add a polar bear in your Arctic survival movie, I'm interested.
Same here.
So this will be out February 1st. Or so they say.
So they say.
Yeah, no, I think this is getting a wide release. I'm not sure about that, but February 1st either way. Next up, Stellan Skarsgård has been cast as Baron Vladimir Harkonnen in the Dune remake to be directed by Denis
Villeneuve.
What was that?
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a Canadian fella.
I've been saying his name way wrong.
That's all right.
Okay. So that guy, good old Denis
Villeneuve.
Good old Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. No relation to Denny of Denny's.
Yeah, anyway. So that guy who's directed the recent
Blade
Runner sequel, he is directing this Dune remake, and along with Stellan Skarsgård, we've got Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides. Man, help me out the names today. Thank you. Rebecca Ferguson is Lady Atreides, and Dave Bautista in an yet-to-be-decided role. Although it's like a brutish, and like what was it, an uncle?
Someone related to the Vladimir Harkonnen character.
Yeah, an uncle of a brutish character or some shit like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
The cast is cool, and you know what? I know we hark and we kind of harp on remakes and all that stuff, but this one kind of makes sense because I know that the first Dune is not an ultra classic like some of the other things that over the years have been people have attempted remakes or redos or sequels. This isn't like Jurassic Park where it's insane that they're still making them, but what the fuck do I know? They're making shitloads of money.
Well, I mean, I think the big point there is that, like, with Jurassic World, I mean, shit, we got Jurassic Park right. There are a lot of people who don't think that we've ever gotten Dune right. Frank Herbert's book, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Very meaningful to a lot of sci-fi fans, and though the David Lynch original, or I think it was an original, came out in the 80s. That one, like, a lot of people like it. To a lot of people, it's imperfect. You know, it doesn't capture a lot of what that franchise is. And I know they made a couple mini-series. James McAvoy was actually in a mini-series about Dune, like a couple. I want to say it was in like the late 90s or early 2000s.
Well, how many pages is the original Dune book? It's probably pretty long.
It's pretty long. I don't know exactly, but
that's
it's
what
long.
I'm saying.
And there are many. I think there are a few books.
Right. So when you have a lot of pages and a lot of material to sift through, it's almost like Batman in a way, where, well, actually, Batman's sort of an outlier even. I'd say like Batman and Dracula are in a different league. But where something wasn't amazing the first time, you can do a remake and no one's going to bat an eye. Now, I know that this movie wasn't super popular, but it's an example.
Yeah.
There was a movie that came out in like 2009 or so. What the fuck was it? My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Yeah.
Okay. There was no large contingency of fans of the original.
All these remakes in Hollywood, can't they have original ideas? Like, this movie.
Yeah, like the first one, it's like an okay slasher. So to attempt that again, go for it. Why not?
Right.
You know, I have absolutely no problem with that, and I kind of feel the same way about Dune, and I would imagine a lot of other people feel similarly.
Yeah, I think the sentiment regarding this is pretty positive. And especially considering how, you know, Denis Villeneuve's, like, talent as a filmmaker is growing. I mean, he made a sequel to, like, one of cinema's, like, Mount Rushmore movies of, you know, being Blade Runner. And, like, with the sentiment towards that movie being that it generally... some people feel that movie's better than the first Blade Runner. Which I know for you is not saying a whole lot.
Well,
I haven't seen the first Blade Runner.
I'm not really a big fan of Blade Runner, honestly.
But
I understand. I understand that he made a movie that resonated with the people who saw it. It got really good reviews,
right? And some people even said it's better than the first one, which is like, Jesus. That's usually it's like, oh, this ruined the fucking original. This is a shitty remake of the original. Like, this guy's last movie was a jumping off point of a very like well-regarded movie, and it did really fucking well. So like, I feel like this is fucking pie for this guy. Like,
okay.
Dune, the original movie, it's not anything to swing at. You know, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we have to amend our list. All right, so don't just do derivative ripoffs.
Yes.
Do remakes of things that were just like kind of okay the first time, but that you know you can do better.
Right. We've got the technology now.
Yeah, see that's how I've felt about a lot of movies in the past.
So bring on those cinnamon worms, Denis. I want to see some giant ass cinnamon worms eating people.
Indeed, cinnamon worms.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll do it for that story.
So moving on to the Disney Plus front, Marvel has selected Jac Schaeffer to showrun and executive produce the Scarlet Witch and Vision show entitled Vision and the Scarlet Witch. Jac Schaeffer is, of course, involved, or she's one of the many writers in the cavalcade of writers that worked on Captain Marvel. She also wrote the script for the Black Widow movie, which is forthcoming. How do you feel about this selection? I guess it obviously sort of points to the fact that they're happy with the stuff that they're getting from her.
Right, but it's also untested, so... I mean...
It's a gamble.
You know what, fuck it, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like
we do this a lot with Marvel.
No, but it's just... I don't like this idea of kind of putting the cart before the horse. Oh, you wrote this? Oh, yeah, we like that script. Has it come out yet? No, who cares? Right, that's true. Yeah, fuck it, be showrunner.
Write it all.
Yeah, it's like, slow down.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they did with what's her name, Geneva Robertson Dvorak with like Tomb Raider, where it's like you're gonna write fucking the next Transformers. You're gonna write all of them.
You know who else is like that? Like John Spates.
Yeah.
Why the hell is this guy writing everything?
Yeah, it's weird.
There's sort of a similar thing going on with actors and actresses. Mm-hmm. Like, well, we got to put them in every big franchise now that people like them.
Right.
But yeah, I guess with writing it's a little bit different because it's not as immediately noticeable, obviously, as seeing an actor everywhere.
Right.
No one's gonna be like, man, another like insert like another Paul Schrader movie or like whatever, like insert screenwriter, like another John Spates, like that doesn't happen the same way.
Unless they're a guy like fucking oh god, who's the guy who wrote the Hitman movies?
Skip Woods.
Unless it's like Skip Woods, where I'm like, that name. Like, this motherfucker, no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But he's still kicking.
He's working, man. It's a living.
And for what it's worth, I think the Hitman movies, even though they're kind of crappy, they're perfectly watchable.
They are that, at least.
Yeah. So, I guess we have nothing to go off of. Have you seen Timer?
No. That short, or was it shorter?
No, feature? It was a feature length. I don't even. I
saw the trailer. You showed it to me a while back. It's weird.
It was weird that they had, what was it, like a sci-fi-esque premise, but it was
like
super low budget.
Yeah, it's like you get a watch that tells you like the time
when you're gonna
meet your like soulmate or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it's like a premise where you're like, okay, it's high concept.
You know what? To hell with it. I think we got to find that and watch it
in order to judge whether or not this show about an AI and a fucking sorceress is gonna be.
I don't know that it will be a good place to judge because like the Russos.
That's true.
Like what was it? You mean Dupree or something?
You mean Dupree and like
in a handful of different
Community?
Episodes. Yeah.
It's
like that one episode had that paintball fight scene. It's like that still
that really
doesn't...
came in handy in the scene where everybody dies in Infinity War.
Yeah, it's like how the hell would you have been able to assume yes that's the scene that makes them qualified. Like
right.
You just I don't know. It's just like
you know who does know?
You wouldn't know.
Disney does.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
So I trust them.
I trust them. I guess we're just rambling about bullshit and nothing. So
for now,
we
shall see.
Yeah, and maybe for like an eighth of Captain Marvel, we'll notice. That's what we'll do. Before we watch Captain Marvel, we'll see Timer. And then we'll try and find the sliver of similarities.
It's like they were both wearing wrist things.
Yeah. That was her idea.
Yeah.
Apparently she pitched it at the meeting. At the nights of the long table. Of like, you imagine that writer's room, there's just like 40 people in there. It's like a madhouse. They're just like all throwing papers around, all pissed off. It's like, Bob Iger says to speed it up. Hey, Geneva. Yeah. Ryan. Said. That. Anyway.
Oh my god. We need more. Blockbuster.
Yeah. 9 inch. Nails.
Oh god.
Okay, so to sum up the nonsensical ramblings that we have just gone through, I think we're going to have to see how her writing talents translate on screen. More than likely, I think we'll be fine. Anyway, that does it for the news. So moving on to our review section, we've got a couple reviews for you. Real quick, before we start both of these reviews, it basically dismantled my top movies of the year.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert on scores, but they're both really excellent, and I was kind of blown away by how surprised I was at how good they were and how much I liked them.
This first one here actually was not on my top 10 list or our top 5 list, but it very slowly, upon thinking about it recently, is creeping in there.
Yeah, this sleeper goods on you instead of sleeper douches on you.
Yeah, which is kind of different for this year.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of movies sleeper douche me.
Yeah.
But this is a good one.
All right, so we are, of course, going to review The Favorite, filmed by...
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah, I never get his name right.
Yeah, he's an Athenian fella.
Yeah, he's got that advantage. Can't forget a name like that.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, this was an immense surprise, because I'd seen the trailer a couple months ago, and I don't know why I didn't really act on it. It kind of seemed like we're just doing a comedy, but a period piece as well. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really sure about it, but I was hearing some rumblings, and I figured, you know what, I'll see what the hoopla's about. And I basically was treated to the master class on acting.
Oh yeah, and what I really liked about this movie too is that this probably has the best central conceit of a movie I've seen all year, and that's due in large part to the fact that it is not revealed in the trailer, like what the movie's really about. Like it's sort of hinted at, but not. When you find out what it is, you're like, oh, okay.
So that's what's going on.
And it's not only is it watchable, it's kind of like intoxicating. Yeah. You're like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Like the central trilogy of like relationships here of like between Rachel Weisz, Emma Stone, Olivia Colman. Yeah. That is what you're here to see, and boy does it really, really make it worth the
We'll
watch.
touch upon that more in the spoilers.
Yes.
But I just want to point out, before we continue, this has on the Unbreakable website of Metacritic a 90.
That's really good.
That's hard as hell to get.
Yeah, Metacritic is not easy.
Yeah, no, it's not easy to crack Metacritic. Mm-hmm. But the performances were amazing, particularly, obviously, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz.
Oh, man.
Man, it's like, I feel like I have been sleeping on like her career. It's like, what is going on? I didn't know you were this good at acting.
Yeah, I know. It's like you start out in The Mummy.
I was going to say, like, to me, Rachel Weisz has always been the
good, but like fun
yeah,
good.
But like, yeah, and like she's opposite of
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser in The Mummy. She's the lady from The Mummy.
But like she acts the shit out of this. Like she is not, without getting too spoiler heavy, like she is a fucking ice queen.
Right.
In a good way.
I guess let's see what else we got here that isn't spoiler. From what I read, the major beats of the story, not like the little details, but the major beats of the story are for the most part historically accurate.
Yeah, it's like they don't necessarily like kill Hitler in an Inglourious Bastard sense.
Yeah, it's not completely revisionist, but the main elements of like, what's her fucking face?
Queen
Anne and Abigail coming to meet her cousin, Sarah Churchill.
Vying for favor. Yeah. That all happened.
Right. And there's actually a funny quote I have here about what Yorgos Lanthimos said about the accuracy. He pretty much said very bluntly, some of the things in this film are accurate and a lot aren't. You know what I like about that?
You're not bullshitting me.
Yeah, at least he's just upfront about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of not hard to guess which ones he's talking about that aren't accurate.
Right, and it's also like the movie didn't feel like it was trying really, really hard to strive for historical accuracy at every single turn.
This was just an interesting interpretation of historical
events.
Events.
Exactly. It's like this is kind of his fun take on a specific time period and place and events.
Yeah, I compared it when I was talking to you about it. I compared it to Amadeus.
I would say that's a very apt comparison.
Where it's like, yeah, it didn't happen, but fuck you, who cares? Like it's a good story.
It didn't happen this way, but it's like it works well enough.
Yeah, and
where
like
you that's what I'm saying. You sort of gather it's like this is his interesting take on how things could have gone down.
Right. And there's
how he kind of thinks it should have or whatever.
Right. And there's a 300-year window here of like when this shit actually happened. So like it's not really damaging much if you play around with the sort of truth of stuff.
Yeah. And the one thing I really liked about this is it almost felt like a gangster movie in a way. Mm-hmm. Not that it really had that many similar aspects of it, like story-wise, but in that you're not rooting for anyone. No. Like everyone is just a horrible piece of shit in this movie.
That's also what I would say is like there's not really a central character that you like. Like I would say you feel bad for some characters.
Without giving away too much,
You're kind of on Emma Stone's side for most of the movie, but even...
Fuck it. Spoilers time. It's just too hard. So Emma Stone is a fucking snake in the grass.
Yeah, but you start out and you're like, what the fuck? Like, they're treating her like shit, and she's like dipping her arms in lye and
that's
burning
what I was
herself.
Gonna say. That was one thing I really enjoyed about this is the attention to detail, like the lye, the whole, all the funny wigs and costumes. A lady of the bedchamber. Like what a completely archaic title.
Oh my god!
Not only that, like. I'm educated, I speak French, Latin.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Like, who the fuck speaks Latin now?
Oh, my God.
Besides people who want to do well in their SATs or ACTs.
Exactly.
But, no, it's really amazing how she done fools you.
Well, it's weird because, like, you go from really enjoying her character to you kind of never really like Rachel Weisz because you're like, wow, she has a really poisonous relationship with
Queen Anne.
Yeah, Queen Anne. And you kind of go from that to, like, at the end, feeling kind of bad for Olivia Colman's character.
Well, that's what's weird is her, like, honestly, yeah, she's, like, the least shitty of all three of them.
It's kind of tragic because it's, like, it explores, like, the pitfalls of being just an individual in power and, like, how you never... This movie's kind of, like, pessimistic in that, like, can people in that kind of immense power ever truly have a friend? Or like, is that person always going to want something from them because they're this immense person in power? And it's like really depressing. And I thought Olivia Colman, god damn it, she cracked me up, man. She's so fucking good.
Well, she nailed the whole like the duality of the role of like being pathetic yet powerful.
Yeah,
because at the same time, it's like, stop playing in the courtyard. She was yelling at the band. Someone always wants something from her. And like Nicholas Hoult.
Oh my God.
Also extremely stand out in this.
So good. Just like amazing costumes and makeup.
He's just such a perfect bastard in this. Like, what part just like cracked me up?
Well, when he
just shoves her down the hill. Like, what the hell is that? See, that's what I felt like. That's this director putting his stamp on this time period.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have him shove her down.
Oh man, yeah, I love that, and I just that's the other thing is that if we're talking tone and just like the weirdness of the movie. I thought the dialogue was like so fucking good. Like from a script standpoint, like that central relationship between the three characters is really on point. But like even on a micro level, like every line of dialogue, there's just like so many quotable like, wow, that was a really fucking dynamite piece of. That was like the perfect thing to say in this moment type of dialogue.
Yeah, there's a lot of good dialogue. Okay, we're talking spoilers. I forgot. So here tryst, there tryst, everywhere tryst.
Yeah.
So that part, you're like, really? Did not see that turn of events.
Yeah.
So you're like, gee, Sarah Churchill and Queen Anne are awfully chummy. And then you're like, okay. And you sit there, okay, that's what's going on. Got it.
Emma Stone's like sitting there like trying to grab a book, like trying to sneak out.
Yeah. I love how she's just trying so quietly to grab the book and all that shit.
God, it's amazing.
Just a masterfully crafted scene.
You know what I liked is like how didn't it feel like all the scenes were like lit like supernaturally, like just by like candles and shit?
I definitely got that impression.
Oh God, that was good shit.
Well, I think part of that was probably like I think that's part of the attention to detail in the set design and everything. Mm-hmm. I felt really immersed in this world at the time.
Yeah, I never really lost the period. Only like 2 times, and it wasn't really for anything that happened in the movie or in the scene. It was more of just like there were 2 or 3 directorial choices where I was like, okay, this feels like a little bit like a contemporized movie. Like, there are a couple scenes where he uses, like, really, really wide, like, 1990s fucking skateboard video camera fisheye lens.
The fisheye lens shots, I was kind of like, okay, I get it. Mm-hmm. You're sort of saying how I guess the douchebag film snob interpretation. It was to imply the disorientation of this extremely excessive world of wealth and power and England.
It's kind of how I felt.
I don't know. It's like to me though, like taking off my snob douchebag hat. It's like these shots are dumb. Mm-hmm. They took me out of it.
Yeah,
Because it's like, if I'm looking at this flat, like a regular lens, and you look at, as I said, the attention to detail and everything, I feel so immersed in this world because it's like, it's archaic, yet everything looks like, that's what the new version of that would have looked like at the time.
It reminded me of like a 90s music video.
Yeah.
Like a Sugar Ray music video or something.
Yeah.
Baja Men or some shit.
Yeah, frost tips were cool at that time.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you're like, that was the thing.
Hey, man, some of the hair in that movie, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, also, the rabbit thing with Abigail made me so fucking mad. I'm like, stop.
Oh, with, she's like, she's trying to step on it.
Almost kill it, and then she's like, nah, I'm not gonna. I'm like, you're an asshole. Now I really hate you.
Yeah.
Because at first I'm like, you're just a sneakster and a trickster.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, now I really, really hate you.
It's okay, though, because Anne puts her in her place.
Yeah.
Though it's still kind of like, all right, well, this is how their fucked up relationship's just going to be then forever.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. You know what the other thing? Back to the scene where she sees it happening. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine at that time
seeing
that?
Oh man!
Holy Jesus!
Think about like the Emma Stone character seeing that. Like, could you imagine? I mean, she'd just be like, "Oh yes, this is perfect." Like, I've got my fuel.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, that was her end.
Like, yeah, but it's like just at that time period. Imagine Emma Stone's shock to see that because number one. Sarah Churchill is not only unfaithful to her husband, but it's with the Queen, no less. Mm. So Emma Stone saw that, and I think you were telling me about this earlier. You're saying like that's her in.
Yeah, no, this is it. This is how I get in. This is how I can plot it.
And then on top of that, she one-ups her by getting intimate with the Queen as well.
Yeah.
It's like she's just a sneaky asshole, isn't she?
It's just a really brilliant. Again, it's a really brilliant central conflict.
Not only that, you kind of get the feeling that she's just a complete like a hedonist.
Yeah, especially at the end.
Oh, well, okay, because she gets close to the Queen. Mm-hmm. Then she seems like, if nothing else, just to gain favor, obviously. But then on top of that, marries that other dude.
Yeah.
And I love that one scene, like right toward the end, where she's just drunk and making a fool of herself. Mm-hmm. And then the husband's just sitting there.
He's like unhappy.
He's just thinking, God damn it, I got duped. Oh, yeah. And like, you don't get a whole lot of him, but his character's, I mean, that's kind of part of the deal, is like he's so inconsequential.
Yeah, he's just some dude.
Yeah. But everyone's trying to play puppet master in this. Everyone's trying to control everyone else.
Literally reminded me of like in the original One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest novel. So like it's told from fucking Chief's perspective.
Yeah.
And like there's parts in there where like Chief talks about how he can see like wires coming out of like Nurse Ratched and attaching to all the other patients, which is like supposed to be influential or supposed to be significant above like the fucking her influence over the room. It's like felt like this shit. Yeah. I'm like whose influences on whose wires are tendriling out to who. It's just like got it. And it's so there's subtext, yes, but it's so clear to understand who's in whose favor and who's on whose side, even when it's not. Like you're like, ooh, I feel like this person's plotting this. Like, Emma Stone wouldn't like that, or ooh, Olivia Colman's character wouldn't like that shit. It's
just so perfect too. I was sort of drawing a weird comparison. I thought about this after I watched it. How Abigail's, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Her like false modesty when she first gets there.
The humble bragging.
Well, it reminds me so much of Jordan Belfort's arc in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Leo, he first gets there, oh, gee whiz, like, you are pond scum. And then he becomes like Mr. Fun Tickets.
Yeah.
It's like she sort of has that same arc.
Well, she has like that one scene where I'm like, ooh, humble brag, where she's like, she's like, looks at her, is like, oh, sorry, ma'am, I was out, I got a cold out picking those leaves that I put on your wound. She's like, that was you? And I'm like, ooh. Damn it, Emma Stone, little ooh.
It's like, at first you think she's an overachiever.
Yeah.
Because she gets the herbs. And then it's like, no, she's not an overachiever. She's a conniving overachiever.
She reminded me a little bit of like a less obnoxious version of, what's her name? Fucking Tracy Flick, the Reese Witherspoon character from Election.
Yes. It's funny you mentioned that.
Like, God, I definitely don't like you.
But that's what's crazy about this movie is by the point you realize she's a jerk like everyone else, I kind of that didn't take away anything. In fact, that only made it better.
Yeah.
This whole nonsense about like likable versus unlikable characters, I think it depends on the context of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was saying I feel in a weird way this reminds me of like a gangster movie. Because like whatever the gangsters at the end of the day, like they're still criminals.
Right.
Even if they're supposed to sort of have a vigilante justice kind of view on things or whatever, it's like they're still kind of just awful.
Reminded me of like a little bit of the McGregor-Mayweather fight. You're like, I don't like either of you, but I want to see where this goes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is just like watching a boxing or UFC fight where you think both fighters are pieces of shit.
Right.
You're like,
who's the bigger piece of shit?
yeah, you're like, I don't know. But either way, I just want to see how this goes.
I love that line
course,
at the end with fucking Rachel Weisz where all the fucking carriages are coming out. She's like, I'm suddenly feeling tired of living in England.
Yeah. She's like, you know, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's cool.
Fucking great.
She reminds me of like a billionaire getting arrested. Like,
like a Madoff type.
Yeah, so everything.
All right, whatever. Change of scenery never hurt.
Everything's cool.
Right.
You know what is weird, though? I sort of felt a tiny bit bad for her by the end.
Yeah.
Because she's manipulative and awful, but she was also pretty brutally honest.
Yeah.
Like her thing, like, you look like a badger. She's like, who's going to tell you that? I'm trying to save you. But of course, she's also sort of gaslighting her by being like, you need me to be there to tell you all this stuff and to sort of watch over you.
The one fucking part where like Olivia Colman's trying to commit suicide and Rachel Weisz comes up as she's about to jump out and is like, aim for the flagstones, the bushes will break your fall. And
Damn.
I'm like, Jesus, you're a bad spouse. You're a bad SO, Rachel Weisz. But no, it's seeing that, and that's what made me feel even worse for like Olivia Colman's character is like neither of these people want what's best for her.
No, of course not. Well, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's just in it for themselves. Mm-hmm. Just like what a cutthroat time and place that must have been.
Right.
It's like all this shit to gain favor, and then like the queen is so mixed up and like sad, and like the thing about her kids and the bunnies.
Oh God, that's made me feel so fucking gross and sad. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Which was like, that was also apparently a very true thing. Not the rabbits, but like the stuff about her failing to have so many children was a huge deal. I think she only had one kid that ended up living to like 2 or 3 years old and then it died. Like that really blows.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, it's a very like subtextually and contextually rich movie. There's a lot going on with every character.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not really, as I said, the trailer sort of made it seem like it was a flat-out comedy. It's definitely not.
I would say it's way more of a dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy with dramatic intrigue.
Yeah.
And it's very weird because this is just usually so not my thing. Mm-hmm. Like, period piece drama about England. But they really... You know what? I think... What was this guy's name?
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Jesus Christ. Yorgos Lanthimos, who I know is... or at least I know is known for his out there things.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Lobster being one of them.
Yeah.
I think his weirdness made this type of movie more accessible.
Which is weird, because like usually with his other stuff, I usually look at it and I'm like, not for me.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'm against watching it, but I'm like, I don't know if I'd like The Lobster or Killing of a Sacred Deer. But like this, I was like, okay, maybe I see where they're going with this, and I think you're right. I think it's a perfect blend of like it being mainstream enough for a mainstream like douche like me to follow along with just enough weirdness and zest to be like, wow, this is really fresh.
And I think because he chose to make the movie this way, that's what it made it a very unique movie. Mm-hmm. So it's not just another anything.
Yeah.
It blends so many things together, and in its own like goofy way, it really works. Mm-hmm. So, any final thoughts, or shall we move on to scores?
No, I was just really taken aback by how good it was. It's so much so that it took me about a week and a half to actually settle on a final score. I ended up giving it an 8.5 originally, but I'd probably bump it up to a 9 now.
Okay. I will give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, so that's about the same score.
So that's the same score.
13.5 out of 15.
13.5 out of 15. And the only tiny thing I'll take points away for, the fisheye lens thing was annoying. Mm-hmm. Also, the very, very end shot.
Yeah.
Spoilers, even though we're already talking spoilers.
A little too pretentious.
Well, it's just like, I get it, dude. The bunnies, like...
Yeah, cut the frame.
Roll the fucking credits.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, it's like the last shot, if you're making me, like, just get on with it. Mm-hmm. I have to take a little deduction.
Right.
And I really wanted to give this a perfect score, but I just can't. Mm-hmm. So that'll do it for our review of Yorgos Lanthimos' The Favorite.
Now moving on to our second review, we are going to review a movie that I had actually seen a little bit earlier last year, but you had seen a lot more recently.
Yes. This was the last movie of 2018 that I saw.
This would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Sony's animated Miles Morales Spider-Man vehicle. I know we were both kind of skeptical walking into this because of all the hype. In 2018...
Skeptical?
Oh, yeah.
You said spectacle.
Did I say spectacle?
Yeah, skeptical.
Well, we were definitely spectacle because one of us was wearing glasses.
Sure.
Anyway, I was definitely skeptical because a lot of the hype for this movie was kind of astronomically high. And that was a little bit of a through line of 2018 was like, this movie's the best blank ever. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really excited to see what it's like. And go and watch and like, yeah, that was good. Or that was, at least okay, but it's not the best blank ever. I was worried about this walking in. And walking out, I wasn't very much worried after seeing this.
Yeah. Well, I'll just start with my first point is, wow. You took some of the characters from Marvel that I hate the most, or like at least like sort of represent the idea I hate the most, which is this like mantle passing bullshit, different timeline, different universe, basically all the things that annoy me about comics. Mm-hmm. And you put them in a movie and you made something pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah. As I said, like the Miles Morales character, I like didn't have any reason to not like other than he kind of exemplified a lot of the stuff I didn't like about new Spider-Man stuff, like mantle passing and conscience swapping.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just all the kind of weird bullshit storylines that just seem like they're just lazily in the place of just a regular story.
Right, and that worried me, but I walked out pretty eased. Like, I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like a fan of Miles Morales, but like we're good. Like I'm good with Miles Morales. Like I'm
a fan of this Miles Morales.
Yes. I definitely
see,
agree.
that's the other thing is, I think one of the reasons why doing the weird like alternate universe or like in this version of Spider-Man or this version of Gwen Stacy or whatever, the reason why I think this worked is I think it works better in a movie than it does in a comic. Well, it can work in a comic if it's like, wasn't that a neat arc? And that's like, great, now we don't have to revisit that.
Right.
It's like the what the hell was it? Like the War of the Spider-Man in like the late-ish 90s.
Right.
Where it's like what the fuck is
Ben Reilly?
Ben Reilly and all the like Scarlet Spider and all that shit. It's like, that was cool. But then they kept it going. It's like, stop. Mm-hmm. Just like, it was cool, now just drop it. And I feel like you can at least sort of do that with a movie because it's like it's just this one thing.
And that kind of goes more towards, and I'm going to be echoing something I've said before, but that idea of like I kind of want to start moving away from the cinematic universe thing.
Yeah,
like, let's move more towards like this is a standalone thing that's just its own thing, like Jokery,
right.
like this, where it's like, hey, what if there are many Spider-Men and like. I know Sony's going to milk it for all of its worth.
And they're going to make sequels to this
They're
particular...
already in development.
You know what?
That's fine. Like, it's not going to take away from the fact that this movie existed. I hope not too much.
It's not, but it's not trying to say this is how it is now.
Right,
it's like,
right.
This is just a version of it.
Right.
Which I feel like is a lot more palatable.
Mm-hmm. And it really does succeed at what it sets out to do, I think.
Right. Also, I think part of what worked so well with this is it didn't really just because it's an animated movie. It was kind of weird is it didn't really feel like a superhero movie in the sense like this is trying to be Marvel or DC. Mm-hmm. It had a lot of the, I guess, Pixar-ish elements, like super relatable characters, particularly Miles.
Miles and, yeah, I'll give them this much. They made me forget I was listening to Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot who I didn't hear him anymore. I was like, that's Peter B. Parker or whatever.
That is crazy you mentioned that because I kind of forgot about that until you just mentioned it now.
Like, he's got an unmistakably, like,
right.
That's Jake Johnson. I know who that is. But, like, it worked perfectly for the kind of Peter Parker they were bringing into the fold here.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to get at is I liked that with all the different spider people or whatever the hell you want to call them, Spider-Men, right. etc. The idea you had different, not only was Miles relatable, but Peter was relatable too, because it's like you have the growing pains of high school, which it's like a lot of the audience either has experienced or maybe is going through right now or is about to start. Mm-hmm. But then you also have the kind of like getting older side of things with Peter.
That's what's so weird is like this movie presents a Spider-Man for pretty much every generation in person.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man for the older fans, like people who watch Spider-Man now, like the cartoons, people who grew up watching the old Spider-Man, like janky-ass 1960s cartoons, right. The 90s cartoons, the Sam Raimi movies. It's like read the comics. Like there's so much in here for every kind of Spider-Man fan. And that's like, it's weird how all-encompassing it is.
Right. Speaking of the comics, the comic book aesthetic I thought was really cool.
Oh, God, the textures and shit.
Okay, there's only a couple things that I have to say were detractors. One of them was like some of those weird like the pseudo printing error things. You know what I mean? Like they had the extra outline or whatever. It was supposed to mimic like printing errors at comics.
Right.
That shit was annoying the shit out of me because my vision is terrible enough. I was starting to get cross-eyed at some of that shit.
Yeah, it was like looking like 3D.
No, it's like, it's like, did I go to a fucking 3D movie? Did I forget my goggles?
Yeah.
Or the 3D glasses?
Well, to see that, and I think that'll dive me into my other point, which is the animation. Which is, I dug all of that. Like, it appealed to, like, you know that weird side of me that's, like, I kind of, like, I don't like off the air that much, but, like, when you're that late and your brain cells are just, like, firing off, like, sputtering.
Yeah, no, I get it.
There's something appropriate
get into it.
about, like, this trippy, like, weird-ass psychedelic imagery. Like, holy shit. Like, some of that stuff, especially with, like, the cosmic... Or not cosmic, but like the universe, like quantum theory, like matter and shit flying around.
We'll get to some of that in spoilers. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
The images, the colors.
Right.
Holy
no,
God.
See, I agree with that, except for just some of those shots where I'm like, this. It was kind of like that thing in Interstellar. It's like, well, it's supposed to be loud because, you know, or the score where you like couldn't hear them. It's supposed to be intense. It's like, but that it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as I can't fucking hear what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my same. That's like, yeah, I get that you're making this aesthetic choice, but this is fucking up my eyes right now.
Right.
There's only like a couple shots like that where that really bugged me, but otherwise it was fine.
There's a seizure warning for this movie. Like I was walking into a theater that was showing Spider-Man at one point, but it was showing a different movie that I was going to see. But it had a paper in front of it taped to it, like, be careful if your kid's photosensitive. Like, don't be careful with this because it's a little crazy.
No, yeah, you know what? I think that's perfectly okay because the colors do get pretty crazy, and as I said, we'll mention that again. Spoilers. Mm-hmm. The animation was weird at first. It took me a while to get used to.
Honestly, for me also, but I did get used to it.
I think because it was a different style. Because this is not just your cookie cutter, like whatever round face Pixar kind of dumb looking characters. Not that all Pixars are like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's sort of that samey look with a lot of CGI character designs.
The animation style's got personality.
Yeah.
Especially the movement.
And it's, well, see, that thing is, it's a little choppy. Mm-hmm. It's different.
Yeah.
But once I got used to it, it was fine.
See, that was like for me with the first like 15 minutes of the movie. Like I was finding it like, I don't know. I think that part of me was like equalizing my expectations for the movie based on everybody's hype and like processing what I was watching. But like once something happens, and it's not really a spoiler, but like once the Spider-Man elements come in and like, if you know what I mean when I say the comic book elements come in.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this movie's got me by the fucking balls.
Are you talking about like, all right, let's go through this one more time?
Yes.
And then they go through Spider-Man's story. They go through a bunch of the other ones.
Well, they do that, and like when a specific thing happens to Miles Morales, like comic booky things start happening. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, God.
I'm like, now you've got me.
I'm like, fuck, you've just appealed to another version of Robert, the one that likes to read comics, like, of any kind.
It felt like, and this might sound like a detractor, but trust me, I mean this in a good way. It felt like an extended music video.
Mm-hmm. It did.
In the way that it's like, they're doing kind of crazy shit to tell the story that you just don't see often.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I kind of there's one thing about that I was really worried about was the obsession with like meta humor and like, you know, in joking about like specific
Spider-Man
knowledge.
shit.
Like they do that, but they don't beat you over the head with it, thankfully.
No, and I think they do it. It's for a point. Like
right.
It's weirdly meta for a good reason. Like,
because it's funny is so these guys did Lego Movie. Mm-hmm. Which I think is all right, and I know that's like blasphemy, but
no,
part of what bugs me about that movie is like
a lot of meta humor.
But it's kind of like great, whatever. So you're playing with Legos, you go to the different Lego places. Oh, I get it. It's his dad the whole time. It's the kid. Mm-hmm. But this felt more purposeful.
Yeah, or like
other than like, see, it's a twist,
or like 22 Jump Street, where it's like we're going to use meta humor to
exactly,
not get away with referencing the last movie and being self-referential. It's like cool, but just because you're acknowledging you're being self-referential,
yes, exactly. This is like
make me give it a pass for being like the first movie.
No, because this was more like we're referencing each other's universes,
right? I think
not like we're referencing the idea of Spider-Man itself,
right, and that's. I think, like, that's where the movie's subtlety comes in. Is like the movie's not it's not expressing overtly its thematic stuff about meta, Spider-Man meaning, but like there is stuff there. Like I really do think the movie posits like how Spider-Man's like he's not just a hero or an example or like a cultural fixture. Like he's all those things, but he's also like a mechanism through which people can believe in things bigger than themselves and shit. But like the movie doesn't really say that explicitly. Like that's just some fucking extrapolation I just made.
Well, I mean, part of that's like, God damn it. This is just too fucking hard to talk about. You want to just talk spoilers?
Let's get into it. I mean, it's been out long enough.
it's spoiler time, and you know what? Whatever. So, like, I think that's really extrapolated on when they talk about when the Peter Parker of Miles Morales' universe is dead.
Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like everyone's all sad, and it's like, and they're all like
it's so weird because you're like, it feels like it's still unmistakably an animated comic book movie, but like they're like having the vigil and like the funeral for him, and I'm like, this is how it fucking would have happened, wouldn't it?
It's like this shit's getting like pretty real.
Yeah.
And then you got, of course, the late great Stan Lee's cameo.
Oh man, that's gotta go up there. Yeah, I knew Spider-Man.
I was a good friend of his.
Oh man, that's gonna go up there in like the top 5 for me.
Yeah,
that was so weird, and also good on them for at the end not just saying "Rip Stan Lee," but Steve Ditko also got some love there.
Yeah,
he was also one of the contacts in Jefferson Davis's phone.
Yeah,
you see that? Freaking also Brian Bendis was in there. Also, there's a lot of like
there was a couple,
random Spidey writers. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was classy stuff.
Yeah,
and I was glad they did that.
And it wasn't like overtly like in your face, like referential, like remember this Spider-Man writer humor?
Yeah. No,
like,
that's what I'm
Easter
saying.
egg if you can see it.
Because that's what I'm saying. It was like, oh, so in your universe you do this or that. Mm-hmm. It's like they're basing it on their lives, not like Spider-Man, like wink, nudge, fourth wall, which is fine if it's Deadpool, but it gets annoying when other things try and do that too much. As you said, like God damn it, not Mile 22.
21 Jump Street?
21.
22 Jump Street,
22 Jump Street, more so. The fight scenes in this were good. I liked them. There was only one... okay, if I were to give one other tiny complaint. There's a couple times where there's a little too much camera movement. I'm like, I want to see these fights, man.
Yeah.
It was a little hard to follow, but most of the fight scenes were really goddamn good. Very comic book come to life.
Yeah, I didn't want him to end.
Yeah, see, that's how I felt.
And they kept him coming.
Yeah.
Man, like, they just aren't stopping, and, like, I was never bored. I mean, I personally, there wasn't really anything where I was confused by. I kind of loved, like, just how wacky and, like, oh my God, especially the end, like, with the subway, where it, like, comes out of nowhere and starts, like crashes into Kingpin and fucking Miles Morales, and they're fighting in the subway and shit. And while it's, like, flying around the fucking containment chamber.
The collider room.
Yeah, I'm like, this is oh my God.
Well, do we want to talk about the Super Collider room right now?
Sure. Well, we're talking spoilers.
Yeah. Well, first of all, wow, those neon colors.
It's something to behold.
No, that's something special. Honestly, like, the color schemes in this whole movie were amazing. And that's kind of why I said they're like a music video. Is it kind of felt like they're using other colors than sort of like the... Like, blue and orange was like I felt like were kind of the palette for a while.
But then it's like, here's some neon, like, green, like, like seafoam green and shit.
And like yellows and pinks and shit.
Like highlighter pink.
Like crazy colors.
Right.
Like different kinds of light blues we don't really get. Kind of moving away from that, like the typical blue, orange, like brownish, like grim sort of tones that we see a lot of. I mean, I guess that's not really a thing in animation, but like
a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the blue, orange, and I guess like with Marvel lately, their thing's been like purple because of Thanos, I guess.
Right, purple and yellow.
Like the tones, yeah. But the color schemes are just very unique. I can't really think of a lot of movies where the color scheme seemed very similar to this. Something occurred to me while I was watching this. And I think this kind of goes along with your thinking about more standalone stuff. I'm starting to think that animation might just be a better medium for superhero movies.
Now, that's an interesting point you bring up, because this brings us into another, kind of dovetails into another thing that I have with this movie that I'm going to have to reveal.
What's that?
We talked about this, and I withheld it from you, but I won't say it's not. Now, who am I to fucking decide whether or not it's the best Spider-Man movie? Because there's subjectivity's a fucking thing.
I cannot agree with you on. If you're saying that this is the best,
no, I can't, because it's subjective. That's a subjective thing. There's no such thing as best.
No, but I'm saying, like, what is that your opinion?
It's my favorite one.
Oh, also disagree.
You disagree that it's my favorite?
No, okay. or whatever. Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing.
Robert, you can't. Dude, not allowed.
I was so fucking depressed after watching this. I was like every fucking ugly Tobey Maguire cry from the Sam Raimi trilogy combined into one fucking face. Like, I was so pissed because I'm like, I have to reconcile with myself here and, like, decide. And, like, I fucking love the Sam Raimi trilogy. All of them, even 3. Like, I fucking love 3.
Oof, also disagreeing there.
But, like, it's almost unfair to compare these. Because it's like, this movie can do so fucking much more than Sam Raimi could have ever done. So it's like, I don't even know if it's worthy of comparison.
I think, quickly, if we're comparing, I think that this is a close second.
Yeah, no, I think they're super close. I don't even want to compare them. Like, that's how scared I am.
First Spider-Man, then this.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I have to do it into 2 categories.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put it on one over the other. Best live action, Spider-Man 2.
All right.
Best animated?
Yeah, fine. All right, whatever. Point is, I guess what I was trying to say is, the thing about animated movies is, if something's animated, duh, so is everything else. Mm-hmm. So you don't run into that problem where, I like Winter Soldier better than, like, let's say, Doctor Strange, because Winter Soldier had more practical effects and, like, looked more realistic for the most part. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange is just people on green screens.
Exactly.
This whole movie is just animated. So nothing looks out of place or, like, weird, like, when it's extra fantastic.
Right.
And that's what made the Super Collider scene so special to me, is aesthetically, nothing looks fake remotely about it because everything's animated, but you're also able to show something more fantastic because everything's animated, and you don't have to worry about, it'll look bad if we superimpose, insert actor's name here over this scene of animation, or it's like, it looks really shitty when you mat it in that way or whatever,
right.
Or like the green screen, blah, blah, blah.
CGI, whatever.
Yeah. You don't have that problem with this.
See, that's why I was so sad, because I'm like, this movie can do so much more being animated. An animated Spider-Man movie. I guess exactly. I never realized,
it's just everything, should
Spider-Man movies have just always been animated? I
don't know about Spider-Man. I'm just saying superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
I can think of about 4 other examples. Like off
the DC flicks?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think the Wonder Woman animated one's better than the live action. Mm-hmm. Again, it's very, very... Well, sort of flip-flop my opinion about Spider-Man and this, but the animated Wonder Woman, I think, is just a tick better than the live action.
I can get behind that.
Oh, man. Batman, it's a close race. There's a lot of good animated movies as well as Dark Knight.
Damn.
Well, okay, but my point is there's a lot of animated ones that are better.
Yeah, because you can do so much.
They're better, if not better, close to the live action version.
Because you can do so much without making it look like shit. Planet Hulk.
Boom, better than all the Hulk movies.
It's not even close.
Not even remotely fucking close. Because
would you say The Dark Knight Returns is better than like half of the Batman movies?
Ooh, yeah.
Like the Tim Burton and fucking what's the dude's name? Schumacher ones?
Oof, that's a close call, but okay, it doesn't matter. We're getting off topic.
The point being,
I think
they hold a candle.
There's lots of the ones that hold a candle. The fact that we're like, ooh, I don't know, like, or like, oh yeah, that's definitely better. We've stumbled upon the fact that this is another outlet.
Yeah, this really galvanized me into being like, holy shit. I want more animated superhero
Bring me
movies.
Mojo World
fuck.
X-Men.
This style of like Sony animation.
Yeah,
Dare I say it?
I guess Sony can't do it.
Sony, please do this, I guess.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that really made this an unbelievably, like, it elevated the level of enjoyment of a superhero movie in a different way.
Right, I agree.
Now, I'm not trying to say that you can't do the CGI thing, but like, I'm just saying this is a different aesthetic.
I also
maybe not even better. Maybe comparison is not the right thing, but it's another avenue.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely like animation is something that ages better than CGI, because like shit, I mean 20-year-old movies like Lion King still stack up today, but like 20-year-old CGI doesn't.
No, it does not.
So that's where I stand. It's so fucking hard for me to stack them up, but regardless, this is a decent.
That's what I'm saying.
It's an amazing Spider-Man movie, if you will.
Well, haha. But honest to God, that whole Collider scene, I'm like, talk about I didn't want that shit to end. I could have watched like a whole movie of that. Oh no, we're stuck. It's like the movie starts. Come get me, spider people. It's like, all right, we're in this fucking crazy, trippy ass like fucking super jail world. That's like
pretty much.
I was loving every second of that.
You know what was the one fight scene though that got me?
What's that?
The one in fucking Aunt May's house.
Yeah.
Where like all the like Scorpion shows up and Doc Ock shows up, and I'm like, they got to go outside first to fight, right? And the movie's like, nope, we're going to have a fight right in the house. I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, that's the thing is, like, this did a great job of mixing so many types of movies together because it's not just a superhero movie. It's also an animated movie. So it's like, you got to have cartoon elements that you wouldn't do. As I said, because this is the new avenue, what can we do that we normally wouldn't, like, do or get away with in a regular live action?
Right.
They really did a good job of that. The other Spider characters, Jesus.
Nick Cage, the Spider-Man
Nick Cage, Spider Noir. I love that shit with the Rubik's Cube.
I'm taking this with me.
I still don't understand it. That shit, I think that's my favorite line in the whole movie. Killed
Inspired, man. I love that fucking casting.
Also, Penny. I love Penny. Man, if I'm not, no lie, the part that made me the saddest is
when the spider dies.
When the robot dies.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that shit. Just like Penny Parker. I've got psychically linked to this robot.
And they were all perfectly balanced.
Spider Ham.
Yeah. He's basically Porky Pig.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, literally like a Looney Tunes character with mallet and shit.
I didn't really love, was it John Mulaney? Mm-hmm. I didn't really love his voice performance. I thought it was all right, but it's just like...
Characters.
I feel like they should have chosen someone who's a little... Like a fucking voice actor, heaven forbid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get that you're not going to choose that for all the roles, but for him... It's like he's a cartoon within a cartoon world. Like he is supposed to be the cartooniest.
I get that.
So I felt like tiny little thing, but he was serviceable enough. Mm-hmm. Spider-Gwen was fine. I didn't really have much opinion about her. She was fine.
She kind of doesn't have a whole lot to do. I mean, she's in the beginning of the movie, and they kind of do a thing where she goes into Miles Morales' universe, but also goes back in time to when before the Collider shit happens. And you'd think that'd give her more to do, and she kind of does. She's basically there as a love interest, sort of, but not really. Also, thank you for not forcing a fucking love story on me in the first movie.
Right.
Like, give it time, if anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about Kingpin, by the way?
Yeah, that's another thing I had.
Fucking character design there. It's just like a giant fucking like Lego Duplo block of a human being.
Well, but they also nailed the spirit of him in the comics.
Yeah.
Because he's this cutthroat dude, but like...
He's got a very soft heart.
He's got a soft heart, especially for his family.
But it's surrounded...
for Vanessa.
Yeah, it's surrounded by all this squarish girth.
Yeah.
That melted heart of his.
Yeah. So you got Kingpin. Yeah, it's...
But Jeff Davis, man. The dad.
Yeah.
Made me sad, that one scene where he's like sitting outside the door and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh man.
Was he like, they tie him to the chair?
Yeah, and he's telling about like his uncle died. Prowler, by the way. I was like,
yeah.
Prowler getting some love. Like
Prowler's cool, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of just great like little small scenes like the motorcycle chase with fucking Prowler and shit. God. There's just a lot of good. It's just really good.
I also liked, because I didn't know who the hell she was in the... Because, again, this kind of felt like, you know, you could interpret, like... It was kind of like this. If you read the Ultimate Comics, you're like, oh, I know who this, and I know who those people are. Mm-hmm. That's like if you read the regular comics, oh, I know who A, B, and C are. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know anything about the Ultimate Comics, about Octavia.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
What was her name?
Olivia Octavius.
Yeah, Olivia Octavius.
I was blown away.
I love that.
I was like, oh, holy shit, we're doing this.
Was who's she voiced by?
Catherine Hahn.
Ah, that's perfect.
Right.
That's who I thought that sounded familiar too.
Oh yeah, they did that a bunch. Like, holy shit, Scorpion. Like, holy shit, Prowler and fucking Doc Ock. Lady Doc Ock. I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
I liked that twist. I like how she was just so nonchalant. She's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a bad guy.
Right. Yeah, man.
It had like that's the thing, is like it didn't overdo anything. Mm-hmm. Like it did a lot of things and put a lot of effort into it without overdoing things. Like they could have overdone the quirkiness.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
That's the other thing, is it played so many things. There's so much going on. There's like, yeah, it's a multiverse story. Peter Parker's there, he dies, but there's another Peter Parker that comes back. It's a Miles Morales origin. Kingpin's the villain, he wants his family back. And, like, if you were pitching this to me, I'd be like, slow the fuck down. What?
Yeah.
Like, this is too tweakery. There's no way this is going to work. This sounds horrible on paper, but, like, they balance it all perfectly.
They do. Oh, one quick thing about the printing error, like, weird effect. Mm-hmm. It's just like, there's, as I said, the one time where it was bad, where I was, like, starting to cross, it's just like, focus! Focus!
Oh, man.
Of course, those don't exist in movies anymore.
That's true.
Okay, but anyway. Oh, here's where I almost wanted to dock points. Jesus Christ, the music, the fucking... Not the score. The score is fine.
I like the score.
The score is fine. Mm-hmm. What I was not fine with...
The soundtrack.
Jesus Christ. All that shitty ass, like... Blah, 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 blah. Not good at rapping or singing, so I sort of do both. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Why is that everywhere?
That's a point of contention I've heard.
You know what? Fine. I get it. Like, Miles Morales is supposed to be 14, so he likes fucking terrible music.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's kind of where
They're
I was
realistically trying to portray a young fella. Fine.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of at. I'm like, yeah, this is the music he'd listen to if he were swinging around New York, Manhattan and stuff. So I was like, I was fine with it.
I'm sorry. I fucking hate that exact style
I know.
with like a burning passion.
No, and that's been a point of contention for numerous people with
People
this
have
movie
pointed that out.
Oh yeah, they're like, yeah, the fucking what's his name?
Post
Lil
Malone.
Wayne, like when the funeral of Peter Parker, they're playing Lil Wayne, like the one fucking song.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is not conjuring like emotions of sadness out of me. It's like making me feel ironical towards the movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. Like I'm not really into that scene so much, so I have no idea what's the difference.
I wasn't
between
paying attention to the music during the sad vigil shit. I was just like, this is sad.
Yeah.
I was drowning out the music there.
See, I was kind of like that with all of it.
No, I know. It's like they didn't really make a big point of this other than like they had the scene. It's like, what do you like to do when you relax? And they
Like
start
listen to
singing
music.
Yeah, he sings like a bar or two. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Sing another and I'm fucking leaving. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I was not about to leave the theater. I was having much too good of a time. Let's see. Yeah, I think the action, as I said, most of it was really, really goddamn good. There's just a couple of tiny bits where I'm like, whoa, I wanna see this. Let's see what else we got. Well, Jesus Christ, that finale. I know we keep coming back to it.
So much going on.
That's how you do a third act. And you know what the other thing is? That's how you do a third act that isn't the same as everything else.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're going to... Because...
It does have the scary beam in the sky thing, but it's like, this time we're going to fight in the beam.
Yes, exactly.
Like, holy shit.
we're doing something a little different here. Yeah, we're fighting in and or around the beam, and guess what?
Right.
The beam just rips apart the fabric of reality as we know it.
Oh my God, it was so cool.
It's like that episode of Justice League. I always talk about this, but the one where Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Solomon Grundy and Dr. Fate, and it's just all trippy and shit.
It's all sad at the end.
Yeah. It was, Spider-Man's, whatever the fuck. What the fuck is this called? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Sorry. The ending, it was just very psychedelic. It was just very different.
Yeah, man. It's super different and welcomed, refreshing different.
Yeah.
Also, how'd you feel about did you stay for the post-credit scene?
Yes, I did.
Good meme.
Oh, we got the
Spider-Man
Oscar
pointing
Isaac
at,
thing.
Well, yeah, Spider-Man pointing at himself, but it's fucking Spider-Man 2099 this time.
Yeah.
Funny.
So we're gonna get some 2099, I guess, in the sequel or whatever.
Which, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I like that arc. It's
fun.
fun.
I'm fine with that.
Let's get some Ben Reilly too.
No, see now you're making me hate this again. Let's pump the fucking brakes.
I'd like what about a Ben Reilly solo animated movie?
How about we just do Miles and everyone else is dead and just leave it at that?
Oh man, I didn't expect you to say that. So you want the Miles Morales solo flick?
Well, dude, it's like he's the one who clearly this was the focus of. So
that's true.
I don't know.
I think I agree.
You know what? Fuck it. It's
as long as it's Miles focused, I think I'll be at least interested in the sequel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
whatever it ends up being.
I don't know. You could make a spin-off of any number of things, but let's talk about the one we saw first.
Yeah.
So, I think we kind of touched upon this. Peter Parker's characterization. It was a little bit different.
Which one?
The
one that's not dead.
Yeah, the not dead, but it still worked.
The deadbeat boyfriend Peter Parker.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Is like I liked the different takes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the different takes because it works in this particular instance.
Mm-hmm. It does. And the Jake Johnson performance cracked me up, surprisingly.
Talked about Robot Spider. I was a big fan of that.
Or SP4-4-DR.
Yeah. Penny Parker.
Konnichiwa.
It's hilarious.
Ugh.
Spider Noir. It's just like, I know we already talked about him, but god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great characterization.
There's a lot of really interesting little like cameos here. Like, oh yeah, Green Goblin was in this.
Yeah.
And like Tombstone.
Like a gigantic monster.
Well, like the ultimate Green Goblin.
See, that's the thing is I'm like, okay, that I kind of remember that with Ultimate. I've only read a very small chunk of Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Tombstone, did you see Tombstone there?
Yeah. He was the one with the dueling pistols.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've mostly touched upon everything. I just thought, overall, I just loved the way it looked.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing was really good. The story was really good.
I thought it was really funny.
The
overall,
the family elements were there. The growing pains of various stages in life were there.
Mm-hmm.
The dad character was super relatable.
I think they got the spirit of Spider-Man right without specifically telling a story about Peter Parker.
Yeah.
You know, like Miles Morales is a Spider-Man, you know?
Well, and you know what? You know when the perfect moment was? Let's go through this one more time. My name is Miles Morales. I'm like, I see what
Spider-Man for a whole day now.
you bookending sons of bitches. I see what you did there.
It's a good framing device.
It really was. I felt like everything felt right in its place in this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain things where it's like I say I wish I got more of the other spiders, like Noir, Penny Parker, and Spider-Ham.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that would have made it too crowded or too long, and so maybe it's good that we got the amount we did.
Maybe it's just right.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Everything felt like it was just right in its place.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I just wanted some thwipping, and pugilism, and bright colors. And holy shit, especially on the latter, did it deliver.
Yeah, maybe even over-delivered at some times.
So, I guess we'll move on to scores, unless you got any parting words about this, or no?
No, I was just...
All right, so let's move on to scores.
Yeah.
So, again, it's like, this was real good, and I really wish I'd seen it before it came out, or closer to its release date rather than a couple weeks after. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, this was one of the only movies that, smacked me upside the head with, how good it was, and, one of the only movies also of last year that, I felt like I wanted to fucking about-face my happy ass back to the ticket booth to buy another fucking ticket. I'm like, I want to see that again. That was so fucking good. And also, one of the only movies I think I've ever seen ever that I'm like, I probably should have saw that in 3D.
Oof, man.
I was like, would that have been better in 3D?
That colorful, crazy collider scene at the end?
That's
maybe.
what I mean. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie like that where I'm like, that would have worked in 3D probably better, if not as good as 2D.
Well, there's another aspect if you're talking the advantage of just making everything animated versus live action movies that are CGI heavy.
You can control the 3D aspects
the 3D
way more.
Looks way better.
Mm-hmm. So overall, I mean, I really don't have any problems with it beyond super just small stupid nitpicks. So I have to give it a perfect score.
Perfect score.
It's really fucking good, and it stands. It holds a candle to and stands alongside my favorite Spidey flick, Spider-Man 2. Would you say this is better than Spider-Man 2? Because you said Spider-Man 1's your favorite.
Actually, fuck it. I don't know. I'd have to watch Spider-Man 2.
I feel like I also have
Whatever.
to go back.
This is not too far behind 1 and 2. Let's leave it at that.
Isn't that a fucking stunning thought? That's like, this is close.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
I know a lot of people think this is better, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's like, I don't know if it's better.
That. I could see that. It's just like, it depends.
It's like, my feelings for it are crazy, off the charts.
Those fucking fight scenes, though,
they're really good. For practical,
for the practical fight scenes in
really
1,
good.
I'm sorry. Those to me, that's some fine pugilism.
Oh, yeah. Especially the final Gabi fight scene.
Yes, exactly.
But that's...
so I think it's a hard comparison, but again, I think my score reflects that it's real goddamn good, and the only things I had problems with are... I couldn't help but notice them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I couldn't help but notice and or hear them.
Yeah. Well, a 14.5 out of 15 is about as good as you can get without being perfect.
Yeah, very, very, very close. Mm-hmm. So that's our score, combined score, 14.5 out of 15. So that will do it for our review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this 37th episode of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Robert.
And I'm Alex.
Please make sure to follow us on all of our social media outlets, including Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud at our self-titled pages. That is Bonus Features with Alex and Robert.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you next time. How do I feel? I missed that field goal. Just a 43-yarder. To kick it was my role. I thought that I had made it. I thought things were going well. Instead I double doinked it. And now I'm in hell. Tell me, how do I feel? How do I feel? I thought they might have tipped it. I still thought that it went through. Instead I hit the upright and the crossbar too. Tell me, how do I feel? How do I feel?